Okay. All right. What's up with your?
Oh my God. What did you
We'll have
just
to edit that out. What's happening, BRC? This is our virtual version of the college Q&A. Usually part of our classroom sessions when we're actually at camp. Is a session where we get a lot of our college athletes together and you're able to kind of rapid fire ask them questions about college running, classes, just kind of those next stages in life. And Coach Marley, myself, and we have a lot of staff members on the call today, took in some of your questions that you had virtually. We put together some of our own questions, and we're going to do a little bit of a round table and talk about what it's like to not only run in college, go to college and go through those next steps in life. And, you know, what do they do to help organize? What do they do to kind of be the best versions of themselves over the next 4 years that they have in school? So take it away.
I guess I'll start the intro. I'm Dylan Jones, a alum of Natick High School and also Tufts University, where I ran in college. I graduated 2019, and number of years at BRC, I think we're 6 or like 12. It's just, there's been a lot, but yeah, I've been there a while, but it's been good.
I'm Mary Dignan. I graduated Hudson High School and then Westfield State in 2018. This would have been my 4th year at BRC.
I'm Bridget Mitchell. I went to Milton High and I'm going to be a junior at Providence College, so graduate in 2022. And this would have been my 6th year at BRC. I was a camper for 4 years, so.
Michael Leary. I went to St. Anthony's High School. Also went to Providence College. Just graduated, doing my 5th year, so 2020. And this would have been my 3rd year at BRC.
I'm Colette. I went to Milton High School too. I go to UMass Amherst. I'll be graduating in the spring. And this would have been my 6th year at BRC. I was a camper for 4 years.
Hi, my name is Patrick Barrett. I'm a graduate of Whitman-Hanson High School and Westfield State, where I ran track and cross country all 4 years at both. Graduated Westfield 2019, and this would have been my 5th year at BRC.
I'm Sam. I went to Brookline High School, class of 2016. I'm about to be a senior at New York University. I'm graduating probably this December, and I was a camper for 1 year, and this would have been my 4th year as a counselor.
Awesome. Thank you guys again for joining us. So let's start with what your top priorities were while looking at schools, and like how and when did you know that you found the right fit for you?
I'll start. So I definitely knew I wanted to stay close, so I narrowed down a bunch of running programs on the East Coast, and that made it a lot easier to reach out to coaches and look into good running programs. And my high school team was really successful, and they're still like all my best friends to this day. So I definitely wanted a program that resembled my high school team in a way. So speaking to coaches and going on official visits, I really wanted to ask a lot of questions on like the team atmosphere, the chemistry, and all that. And Providence just seemed like the best fit in that sense. And yeah, so that's why I chose Providence in the end, just the team atmosphere and the success that the program has had in the past.
Nice.
For me, it was more trial and error. I didn't really know what I wanted out of a school. I went to one school, it was way too big for me. I went to one, it was too small. One wouldn't have running or not somewhere that I could see myself succeeding. So Westfield ended up being the last school I saw and just fell in love with, and it checked all my boxes that I developed as I went through schools and said what I didn't want more so. and what I would have rathered instead.
I didn't apply to too many schools. I basically knew that I wanted to go to school in the city. Applied, got into a few, and basically chose between Boston, New York, and San Francisco. Like my choice was pretty much based on location. That was the most important thing to me, and it worked out pretty well.
I was pretty similar to Bridget because we came from the same high school program, but I was really looking for like a close-knit group of girls to run with that was also competitive, and I knew I wanted to go to a big school. So I remember visiting UMass and just thinking that all of the girls would be a good fit for me.
Yeah, for me, I definitely had location as one of the priorities. I definitely didn't want to like fly anywhere for school. So kind of like Bridget said, like I was looking around the Northeast area. I actually saw PC through like a soccer camp. It wasn't even through track. And I definitely had one of those like moments where like you're walking around the campus and it just kind of felt right. And kind of the more I learned about it and when I met the coaches and everything like that, it kind of just made it even an easier decision.
Yeah, reason I chose Westfield was because it was fairly close to home, only 2.5 hours away, but my brother was working at the school at the time. I definitely wanted to go to school somewhere where I'd have a close support system. And on top of that, they had the program I was looking for and a very solid track and field program as well.
Yeah, I think I definitely looked for academics first and foremost, and didn't really think about running till a bit after. But like the coach and like all the people I met there when I did look were certainly like very nice and accommodating. So it ended up being a very good fit going to Tufts.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. It sounds like you all found your right fit, which is great. One of the main concerns that campers had when they wrote in was balancing their academics and athletics. So could you kind of talk about how you balance that and any tips that you might have for them?
I found a group of people that were maybe studying the same thing or around the same time, at least. A lot of them being teammates, we could work around each other's schedule, having the same practice time, because it was easier to sit down, at least for me, with other people and dedicate some time, because you don't have as much time when you have to cut out time for running and practice and classes as well.
I think a good tip would be to just take advantage of your resources, because I think being a student athlete in college, there's so many people and things available to help you. So just taking the time out of your day to like meet with your advisor or go to study hall and stuff like that, it can make a big difference.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest thing was like routine. I think the first few weeks of each semester is really huge, just getting yourself into the right routine. So, you're getting your stuff done every day. And one thing for me personally was just learning how to like know that when I was at practice, I was focusing on practice. And then when it was time for schoolwork, I wasn't thinking about running. I was just thinking about my schoolwork. So kind of learning how to just like switch off whatever it is that might distract you from doing schoolwork or focusing on running. That was something that helped me a lot.
Sort of like what Mary said, for me, I think one of the most important things is surrounding yourself with people who are you and them are good influences on each other. Because it's college, there's going to be some people who, exposed to the new environment, aren't like the most diligent about work, or they're slacking off and that sort of thing. And if you find teammates or friends outside of running who you and them are good study buddies, you can keep each other motivated. That's always a really important thing.
I
I
find
think you can go, Bridget.
I find writing everything down really helps, and like making a schedule and setting goals for the week. Like what Mike said, you don't want to be worrying about an assignment you have during a workout that's due at like 4 o'clock, because that's just gonna like cause unnecessary stress on your body and overall. So if you start to write things down, you're gonna be like, okay, but I said by Tuesday I'd get this assignment done. And then just kind of helps overall with your sleep schedule and making sure you're balancing track and academics properly.
I think remembering that your teammates are also your friends and like being okay with being like silly at times and like having like fun team dinners and stuff like that can definitely take the edge off that kind of hard balance between school and athletics, especially during championship season when I think everyone puts a lot of extra stress and burden on themselves. So I think relying on teammates as friends is very effective.
Yeah, as Mike said, a big thing that helped me early on was just getting into a good routine of just focus on school when you're in class and then practice when you're at practice. But one thing that helped me was I had three other teammates who were on the same major and concentration as me to start out. So I think early on we just got into a good groove of just going to the library, hanging out with each other, keeping each other accountable in class, which has helped a lot that first semester, which I think is a very crucial semester.
Hey, Mar, kind of a follow-up, if we don't mind. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, guys, unbelievable answers, and I really think the campers are going to appreciate that. And I love the idea of routines and like writing things out and creating little habits for yourself. Do you ever look at, because I know as a coach, and Marley could probably attest to this too, that a lot of kids that might be seniors for me or freshmen for Marley, might decide to quit or not go out for a team because they feel like they don't have enough time. Do you ever look at, the rest of the student body like, man, they have so much more time than I do? And are you happy that you are able to schedule things because you run? Anybody can answer that.
I think being on a team is honestly good for your academics because if I had all that free time, I would literally wait last minute. I would procrastinate to another extent, like be up all night doing stuff. But the fact that I know I have like a workout the next day, like I have to get to bed and I have to like do that assignment during the day, not at like 10 o'clock at night. Like a bunch of my friends that are off teams, they're always like, oh, I was up till 3 a.m. last night doing this assignment. And I'm like, why? You had all day. Like even though our run is just like practice is like 2 hours of the day. Like it's honestly not like that much time out of the day.
Yeah, you're right. It forces your hand though. It forces your hand to make sure that you have a routine. That's dynamite.
To what Bridget was saying, you also have other people kind of on your back, whether or not they're saying it or not. You also have to, it's another group of people that you're thinking about. Like, not that anybody's a slacker, nor should be, but to say, oh, I have to get good grades, not because I should anyways, but I can't compete, or my coach will be upset, or my teammates are doing homework, so maybe I should be. You just don't want to be that one. You have another support system at the same time, kind of forcing you to try a little bit more.
Yeah, more expectations. I like it. Awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree with Bridget. Like when you have like that schedule, like when you get back from practice, you're like, I have to do my work now because there's no other time. So, when I remember I was injured at one point and I had more free time and I like was getting work done like so much worse because like I was like, oh, I have like hours to do it. And then like she said, like it'll be late at night and I still haven't done it. So when you have like that routine, it's nice because again, it just forces you to do it.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. And I really liked what you said too about the idea of doing things so that you can completely focus on practice, and then outside of practice, you completely focus on your work. That's great. It would be great for high school kids too.
Yeah, for sure.
Outstanding.
Yeah, all of you gave some like absolute gold star answers for those tips. And I really hope that high school students and, current college students are, taking notes on all of that because everything you said is just super helpful. So looking back, like what advice would you give your younger self? So things that you did right and you're happy about and you would definitely do again, or maybe things that you would have adjusted along the way.
I can say for me, I think that going back, I would be more open to the fact that college running is so much different than high school, and just like accepting that it would be a change. Like I remember freshman year, a lot of the times comparing like things I did in college to things I did in high school and kind of like missing it and like looking back, and a lot of the things that worked so well for me in high school that I loved doing, I wasn't doing in college. Um, but I think if I had just kind of like accepted that this is an entirely different experience, I would have been like had more fun with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say like one thing that I'm glad I like did was kind of going into college, like Colette said, like I kind of knew it was going to be different. Like I knew that the training was going to be a lot harder, and I think like I was just like kind of mentally prepared for it, like because the first few weeks were pretty rough, and I was like I kind of knew I was going to like struggle in the beginning, so I'm glad I prepared myself for that. But I'd say like from high school to college, I think it's very different from like as a freshman, because when you're a freshman in high school, unless you're like a really really good runner, you're not really going to be on varsity until you're older. But when you go to college, it's a lot more like free range of like who could do well. Like tons of freshmen in college do well, and I didn't really go in like I don't think confident enough where I thought I could contribute to the team. And I think if anyone listening to this is going to college and you're going to be a freshman, like there's no reason why you can't be like one of the top guys or girls. Like you can be a priority for the team. So definitely just have confidence going in, and don't think you have to wait until you're like a junior or senior to be like an important part of that team.
I think piggybacking on that, though, not to say that people shouldn't go in being like, I can succeed, but for me, I came from a small school where I was the top runner, and it could have affected me going into a team and being more of that middle of the pack. It could have discouraged me and turned me away from it and been like, oh, I was really good in my small town, my team of 7. Um, but instead, I took it as something that I could learn from and learn from those people before and after me, regardless of age, but even just by talent alone, something that I could strive from and learn from.
Not to like pat myself on the back or anything, but I would say the thing that I did most right was after high school I took a gap year, and did a bunch of other stuff, and I didn't go to school, and I was running, but I ran like a few races like in the midst of training and stuff, and like road races and like a 10K and on the track and stuff, like things that weren't really relevant as competition. And I took that time to sort of like do other stuff, because I would say that like getting to college and like all that stuff uh, is not necessarily a huge rush, and you should like enjoy the time and the process and that sort of thing.
for me, I came into college like I had Lyme disease senior year of high school. So I came into college like super out of shape. I hadn't run in like 8 months. And as soon as I got to this new program, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to contribute. I need to do my part. And I just like came back way too quick because I was stressed. I was putting all this unnecessary stress on myself. And if I just like took a step back and eased into it a little more, I think that my freshman year would have been a lot different, because I just kept getting injured, which I did like being injured. I was really hard on myself, and I think that if you just like take moments to take a breath and be like, okay, like look at the bigger picture, like in the moment, like you don't need to be like ready for that next race. Like I just kept thinking I need to be in the next race of cross country. Like I've never not contributed to a team, and then I just kept getting injured and injured and injured. And I think if I just took a moment to realize what I was doing, I probably would have had like been able to get in shape easier. And like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but just like take a step back. Like you need to be able to just breathe and not stress yourself out.
I think to build off Sam's point, it's really fun, like kind of embracing this kind of unknown. Because I think like like we all like get familiar and comfortable with high school racing and stuff like that, and then you get to college and it's like something completely fresh and new, and it's like very, it can be like a lot of stress, and like you like think you have to prove yourself and stuff. But I think like the older I got through college, the more I started to appreciate just being on a team and enjoying each race as a new experience, even if that race went poorly. And I think even afterwards, I'd still be like, usually like pretty like peppy on the bus ride and stuff, because it is like kind of a fun thing just spending the day away with the team.
Yeah, I think one thing I would have told myself when I was younger, like going into college, would have just been taking every day, every practice, every race, just kind of taking it in at once instead of looking towards the long-term picture. Like I know, like even freshman year, we were already making goals towards senior year. When I think I just would have enjoyed the process and the experience a lot more if I just looked towards the next race, end of the season, just kind of those not super like I guess like those medium term goals, nothing too far down the road.
Yeah. What else? What I was trying to say is like, just don't give up on yourself. You're really going to experience the highs and lows of running, and I definitely did my freshman year. And I think that if I just had reached out to someone about it instead of just letting it all boil up and cause all this stress, that I think I would have had a lot more of a positive experience with my running. And yeah, like definitely just keep going, don't give up, because it does get better. And it did take me almost 2 years to realize that, but I'm so happy I didn't quit or anything, because I had so many thoughts of like, running's over for me, this isn't for me anymore, like what am I doing? But I definitely am happy I stuck with it, because now I'm like loving running more than ever again. So there's a reason why you started.
Absolutely. That's such valuable advice right there. I feel like during high school, everything is fun and easy because it's all still new. Like you can learn so much in 4 years, and it really is when, things get flipped and changed. You're going off to college, your whole routine, your whole environment's changing. You do have to be patient and kind of live in that moment and, you know, take each day for what it is and not get too discouraged on yourself. So thank you all for sharing all of that.
Yeah, that was great. Mark, remind me that the quote, "There's a reason why you started," is dynamite. It's so simple, Bridget, but like so perfect, and it basically encompasses everything you guys said. And anything, even as a 40-year-old, like sometimes you're doing something and you're like, I don't really want to do this, but there's a reason why you started it. Like I like that. That's good.
So just closing up, if you can give one suggestion to student athletes right now, high school or, college, that are going through kind of these like times that we're not sure what's going to happen, what advice would you give them, during COVID-19 times, if you will? And then to end on a lighter note after that, what was your favorite run or your favorite memory from Berkshire Running Camp?
I think with like all the incoming seniors, and they're all stressed about the recruiting process and not being able to have their final cross country season, I personally would be so stressed out about that. But my advice would be keep training, because your time is going to come to be able to compete, and you want to be ready for that. And by you being able to go out for a run on your own without your team, you already have that mentality of like a college Division 1 runner, or any college runner. But to be able to just go out there on your own and have that dedication and hard work ethic to be able to do that. So you're already showing that you're ready for college and you deserve a spot on a team. But one of my favorite memory of BRC, definitely just being with the Milton girls in high school in our cabin, just at nighttime. Like the stuff that would happen is just to this day, like just I don't even know what was going on, just the antics, the craziness. So fun, and it's something so special that I'll never forget, being at BRC with my high school team.
Another thing is to just be grateful that we still can go outside and we can still do our sport. Even if we can't compete, we can still go for a run or like get together with our friends and run. I live with one of the swimmers for UMass, and just thinking they can't like get in the pool right now and like have a normal practice, but we can still go out and run. So just to like be grateful that we can do that. And my favorite BRC memory, I don't even know, there's so many, but love seeing Bridget in the gorilla suit every year.
I would say to take the time and really learn about yourself as a person or as a runner. You have all this time to think about the process, to run on your own, and it is different than having your team every day at a set time. You do have to learn how to self-motivate and get yourself from point A to point B. Maybe you're getting training from somebody else, or maybe you have to do it on your own for the first time. But you can learn a lot from doing it by yourself. My favorite memories are definitely when we go to Stanley Park. It just hits a little bit closer to home. Being able to take my run groups through places that I would run on a daily basis, knowing the back trails and knowing all the fun spots to kind of stop and hang out.
Say one thing that'd be good for campers to do now is to just at the end of the day just write down 3 things that you're like grateful for, especially in a time of uncertainty like now. It definitely just helps you appreciate the big and small things in your life, and things you just took for granted that you may still have, and it's good just to look back on it. But my favorite memory from BRC is definitely just easy days, just because 90% of my mileage is that now, and I just enjoy every solo run I do just because it's my me time for the day.
Kind of a novel idea on helping running through COVID, but I've found that Strava is like super fun, and it's like I can't run with that many people, so it's like, harder to like make running fun and like motivate yourself. But having it just kind of takes down that like separation and kind of makes it feel like every run you can kind of share with people and talk to people about it, like even if they're not there at the time. So I think Strava's actually been very fun. I think we have a BRC channel, like Strava group thing that people can tap into. And then like I think one of my favorite memories every year is just having that last evening group where you kind of do like the notes on like something you appreciate about each other. Because I think like every time it's like equally like new in that it's like, wow, like this group, even if I didn't think they were like as close as they were. The evening group card thing is great every year, because even when it feels like the kids aren't like talking to themselves that or talking to each other that much or like really into it, you kind of see how much it means to them when they don't have to like announce it to a group. And so it's pretty good.
You go, my bad.
Oh, okay. My suggestion for all runners right now, I mean high schoolers, but any runner really, is that you maintain a good relationship with running. And what I mean by that is that like when stuff starts to come back to normal and there's like more racing going on, that you're excited for it. Like this summer, my training hasn't been the best because I've always had a hard time training in the heat, and without cross country to motivate me, it's been really difficult. And so I've been biking a lot more, because I think that if it's more important than anything that you stay in love with running, and that when you come back to racing season and hopefully, fingers crossed for track and everything, and next year cross, that like you're so excited to race and you're so excited to be on a team again. Because I know I am. But and my favorite BRC memory is probably the rail trail runs, like afterward, the big like party at whatever that school is, like everyone's hanging out and like I don't know, it like we always spend a long time there and it's pretty fun. Rooney's DJing. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say just you know, hang out with your family, keep in touch with your friends, just like you would any other day, and kind of like what Sam said, just enjoy the sport. It's like for me, it's like it's been the first time I've been able to just like train and just go out and run, not have to think about a race. Like I definitely miss racing, and I'm sure everyone does too. But yeah, to look on it in a positive way, you kind of just can just go out there and go for a nice run, not have to worry about a race anytime soon, and just kind of remind yourself why you're running. Because like Bridget said earlier, we all started for a reason. And favorite memory, I don't know if this counts as an answer, but I'll probably say like just getting to meet everybody the past 2 years, because I only knew one person coming in, and I really have just been like so blown away by how like nice like every single like camper, director, counselor is. Like BRC is a really special place, and been really lucky the past 2 years to spend the weeks there, because it's been a lot of fun meeting everybody.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. Dee, do you want to close it out?
Sure. Yes. Honestly, guys, I mean, just being on this call with you, it's, when Mike and myself and Chuck and Coach Rooney, go through the hiring process and go through all these applications, I mean, we couldn't imagine, the hope is that everyone's going to be really good, but, you guys really, you really get it. Two, it's even beyond that at how amazingly you've absorbed this experience and then given the experience back to so many campers. And just though, I mean, I got a lot out of the answers that you were throwing out there tonight. Like there are a lot of amazing nuggets. And I wish I had teammates like you, and I love my teammates in college and high school. But your teams are extremely lucky to have you. And if you're not the leader of your team in some fashion or have a C on your chest, you will be 100% as you continue on in whatever careers you guys have. So that was impressive. I'm sorry that I was late getting on the call. That was 5 minutes that I wish I could have back listening to you give amazing answers. So I think the kids are going to really enjoy this tonight or tomorrow when it goes up.
Yeah, all of your answers I couldn't have asked for better answers. I mean, you're all vulnerable in your journey, and the suggestions and the tips that you gave and the things that you did right as well. So it gives me hope and makes me really just like weight off the shoulders, knowing that there are great people like you out there that are still in school and that have graduated, because I know that you're all going to make a difference. And I'm excited to see all of your journeys and excited to see you at BRC in 2021.
Yeah,
So.
in 2022 and 2023,
4.
like even when you graduate, like you're like you can be 50 and keep coming to this thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are proof of that.
I'm 40, buddy. Slow down. Slow down. Hey, to all since I'm recording this old guy style, BRC campers, please listen to this. Watch it twice, maybe 3 times.
Take notes.
And we'll see you here in a year.
Awesome.